Needle weaving creates a grid-like fill that looks very much like weaving. However, it's on the surface of your fabric. To do this, we bring our needle up at the bottom corner of the shape we want to fill, gently tug so we feel that knot nice and flush with the back of the fabric, and then we go down to the opposite side of that shape. Gently tugging so we have a nice straight stitch there. Then we'll bring our needle up on that same side we came down, just a little bit of ways. And we'll create another stitch that is parallel with this first one, going back down on the other side, like so. And I'll keep creating these parallel stitches that are pretty close together until they are the shape that I want to fill in with my weaving here. We want our rows pretty close together so we get a solid fill of thread. If they're further away from each other, you will see some of the fabric underneath. All right, so that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and knot this thread off on the back. And I'm doing a slip knot, so I've made a loop with my thread, bring the needle through that loop, get that cross part nice and flush with the back of the fabric, hold it in place, and tug so my loop becomes a knot. And then I will cut this thread away. You could continue using the same color thread if you wanted. However, it can be kind of hard to see the different rows when we weave through them here. So let me just thread another color onto my needle, and I'll put a knot at the end real quick. All right, so now we want to weave in our second color here. And these rows are made horizontally. So we'll come up in the bottom corner of our shape, and now we go and flip our needle around because we're going to use the eye of the needle. It's a little duller, it'll make it easier to weave. And we go over, under, over, under, over, and gently tug so our thread becomes flush with the fabric. And then I want to bring my needle down just outside of that vertical stitch right there, like so. So there is my first row. Now to add the next one, I bring my needle up just slightly above that previous row, and I'm going to rotate my hoop so that makes it a little easier for me to weave, and we'll go in the opposite direction. So flip our needle around again, and this time we need to do the opposite of what we did here. So this is an over and an under, so I'll go under, over, under, over, under, gently tug again. So now my thread is nice and flush, and I'll bring my needle back down on the opposite side, like so. So I just keep filling with my alternating woven rows here. Gently tug back down there, like so. And we come up on the other side. I like to rotate my hoop because it feels like I'm stitching in the same direction. You do not have to do that. You can do whatever you want, and whatever feels comfortable when you create this stitch. We just want to fill in this shape with our rows here. And sometimes you can create fun patterns with your weaving, so you don't have to always go under, over, and then opposite on the other side. You could do 2 rows of the same, or 3 or 4, and then alternate some different ones there, depending upon what kind of pattern you're going for. For this one, I'm just going for your standard grid, kind of like checkerboard here. All right, last row, so we come up right on the outside again, and then it's a little hard when you get to the end because your thread gets kind of tight and you're close to the end of those rows, but we got it there. and then back down. Then I would knot my thread off again on this side, and there is my needle weaving stitch